Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. I want to thank all of our listeners from all over the world. Please do subscribe and share if you're not already. All right, let's get into it. Greetings, fellow Earthlings. This is Dave Smith with another episode of the podcast And Another Thing with Dave. In this episode, we're going to be talking about government conspiracies. Do you trust the government? We're going to talk about some proven conspiracies that have been outed through the Freedom of Information Act, and we're going to delve deep into some side topics as well. In this episode, I'm joined by True Dab God from the Stereo app. Enjoy.
Yep. Oh my God, I couldn't agree more. So the helium scam. So the Hindenburg did not catch on fire because of the helium. I watched this awesome documentary. This guy was able to get a hold of an actual piece of fabric that covered the blimp. It was soaked in this shit that was absolutely flammable. When he lit it with a match, it went up like a piece of cotton soaked in gasoline. And then he looked at the structural fabrication of the blimp itself, and it did not have any way for static electricity to be dissipated. So when static electricity built up, it created a spark. It lit the fabric, not the fucking hydrogen. Sorry, I said helium. Hydrogen. So the hydrogen engine should have been on the scene 60 years ago. And they're just now, it got such a bad rap, all propaganda because of the Hindenburg, and it had nothing to do with it. So we would be using hydrogen engines right now, and what's the fucking exhaust from a hydrogen engine? Water.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let's go through these comments, and then we'll come back and listen to some more. But so imagination left something. He mentioned Bill Gates. Now I need everybody to look into this. This blew my mind. So Bill Gates did a tetanus vaccine in Africa, in Kenya, and it was sterilizing women. Proven. The Corbett Report on YouTube did a great documentary. Who is Bill Gates? It's a four-part expose, and it goes into, who is this guy? He's not really a software genius. He stole that technology from Xerox.
Yeah.
So he's not even that guy. Then how the fuck did he get onto the world stage of World Health? Dude, you're a software engineer. Go back in the back room of your lab. Stay there. Stay in your lane, buddy. Stay in your lane. So, and then what else do we got that people want to comment on? It's all pretty much just comments beyond that. Lady Boss, I wanted to point you towards that documentary, Beyond Treason, which goes in
before we get off Bill Gates, too, I mean, he's banned right now. People look it up from 20 plus countries. He's banned from these countries for some of his crimes against humanity that are proven. This is what he does. This is who he is. And if you look at who his parents were, his mom sat on the board of directors for United Way, and also she was on the board of directors for, what was the other company? Was it IBM?
I believe so. And IBM, for those that don't know, are the ones that made the they figured out a way for Hitler to be able to account for the people in the concentration camps. They came out with those were the numbers. IBM did the numbers on people's wrists, and those correlated to a card.
When people look it up, she's listed as the co-founder of Microsoft with him.
Wow.
He wasn't just this dude who started a program in his garage in college, like he's billed to be. That's not who this guy is. And like he said a second ago, he's not some software genius. And I got news for people. Neither is Bezos, neither is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not the genius that we're all told he is. You could look at him in interviews and see that's not true. Same with your boy, Mark Zuckerberg. The interesting thing about Zuckerberg went to the Center of Talented Youth. A lot of people don't look into that and stuff, but these people aren't just like groomed for their positions because of their intelligence. It's their history. It's their bloodlines. So that's the reason why when you look at John Hopkins Center for Talented Youth, you see people there like Zuckerberg and like Brin, co-founder of Google, and like Lady Gaga. They all went to the Center for Talented Youth because they're groomed for the positions of prominence that they're placed into. And it's because of their bloodlines. It's because of who their parents are and their grandparents are. And it's the same with Andrew Yang went for the Center of Talented Youth. So that's why I know when he's out here pushing for socialism and universal basic income, I know this guy is going to be here at the forefront of the Democratic Party's ticket for many, many years to come. He's probably going to end up being the president.
Decades. Yeah. This is our introduction to Yang. He had no hope of he was it was an introduction.
He was a vote
to
funneler.
him.
He was a vote funneler. I think they all were. He was there to get a lot of the younger vote. Buttigieg was there to get the gay demographic vote. You got Bernie Sanders was there to collect all the votes of the people who are dissenters and against big government. And then they all were told that they're not going to go anywhere. And then they had to turn over their fans to Biden. They were all told, no, with Trump's dangerous, you got to vote Biden in. Trump, that's what they all told all of their supports. So they were all vote funnelers.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Booty giggity 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 goo.
Buttigieg.
Let's knock some of these bubbles down, huh? We got conversations building up.
In there as well.
I didn't hear you.
Media wants to control you. Then what does YouTube want to do? YouTube wants to do the exact same thing, and
Agreed.
You guys are susceptible to all its misinformation.
We all are.
Yeah. YouTube is just as bad as mainstream media.
No, it's not, because you actually have the option of searching beyond what they're given to you in the initial stages of the algorithm. And also there's actual people like you, Aries, and like me, and another thing that actually make videos and put them up there. You're never going to find people making videos, normal people, and put onto the actual media. You're not going to turn on MSNBC or Fox, for that matter, any of these, and find something created by an individual person putting facts together in the form of a documentary. So YouTube's a lot different, but I agree with you to an extent that YouTube is still a form and a branch of the media. It's still something you have to take with a grain of salt, and you really have to do your homework on these things. You can't just find one source or one video and be like, okay, I'm basing all my beliefs off this. So I agree with you to that extent, Aries, but for you to want to sit there on a bizarre pedestal above and beyond anyone else and tell us that we're susceptible to misinformation because we watch YouTube, things like that, I mean, you're just mistaken again, my friend. I wish that you would open your eyes just a little bit more, and there's nothing I can say that will make you do that. I can tell already. So, good luck, man. Good luck when shit does hit the fan, because at least we can tell you that we tried to warn you.
Yeah, and I just want to chime on what you said. Everything you see on the lamestream media is what I call it. So anything on cable is owned by 6 corporations. So you're gonna get everything through their lens. So they're not necessarily lying, but they omit. They just won't talk about certain shit. If it's anti-war, you won't hear it. And Donahue is the best example. I forget, was he on ABC? I forget. He had the highest rated show on ABC. After the Iraq war hit, they warned him, don't talk about war. He had a show that was anti-war, and they canceled him. And he was their leading fucking show. So there it is. But on YouTube, sure, you're going to get disinformation on YouTube. But if you have a critical mind and you can think for yourself, you can weed through that shit and find beautiful gems that will never be on the lamestream media.
And that's the difference. That's the key difference, Aries.
Yeah, you got to dig for it, but it's there.
Follow the voice in your head. Everybody already has the answers that they need.
Yeah, I'm big on intuition, going with your gut, big time.
Yeah, totally. I truly believe that. You go sit on top of a mountaintop and quiet your mind, or open your mind, and the answers will come.
#pardon Snowden. That would be wonderful, man. All he did was give up his freedom and his life as he enjoyed it and his reputation for the most part within the government to reveal truths to us that we needed to have revealed to us. And even to this day, some people still deny that shit. Like, how can you deny this? How can you deny something proven to you? I just don't understand some people and how just oblivious they want to remain to facts.
Yeah, and some people will take it to the next level of like, oh, he's a war criminal. Like, whoa, what? What?
Yeah, do you
Or
even know
he's
what he did? Are you fucking
right.
retarded?
No,
Jesus.
and they don't. They don't, or they wouldn't say that. But they don't want to research. They don't want to do those 4 clicks we were talking about to find out that he's an actual hero. And you know, and here's how fucked our skew is on reality in this country due to the lamestream media. We lock up Julian Assange and we lock up Snowden and Manning, but the war criminals, Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, George
Oh my
Bush,
God.
Wolfowitz, Fitzwater, Condoleezza Rice, all those people should be in jail for war crimes, crimes against humanity. They're all
Bill and
free.
Hillary.
Bill and Hillary. They're doing book tours. That's how fucked up this is.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
Do you trust the government? I believe Public Enemy when they said, "Don't believe the hype."
Boom.
Good point. Yeah, I remember the government tried to tell me potatoes were bad. Like, come on, I don't trust that.
Right.
I agree, true dab gob. And also the truth of it is that it may not be true for all, because there are a lot of people who join the military because they strongly believe in protecting our country. But there are a lot of individuals who join the military because it's the only way out of for life, what they see. They see they can make a better form of life through the military. So to say it's okay to trust it on these people who literally were just trying to do something better for themselves, I don't agree with that. Set the facts before the people. Let them know everything about anything that's going to be going into their body, and then let them make a choice.
Decide for
Like,
themselves.
I don't understand why so much is lied about and hidden, aside from the fact that they don't care. Our lives are disposable. It's what you guys already stated about that top 1%.
Yeah, good point. Good point, Leash. Yes, it's true. It's not just people that their families have been raised as military and no, so they have a certain commitment in their spirit to also join the armed forces and defend us and defend freedom. It's also beyond that. Like she said, there's a lot of people who that's the opportunity that they see to get out of some of these impoverished situations that we're born into. You know, and that's what they're trying to do. So for any of us or anyone out there in general to be like, ah, well, better them than us when we're finding out that they experiment on them and things like that. To me, God, that's just fucking disgusting and in my mind un-American.
Oh yeah, and I want to expand on what Leisha said. So that's why college isn't free here. That's why we have such a huge socioeconomic divide and that we want to maintain such a population of poor people. We want people to volunteer to go off and fight wars for these corporations for oil because let's be real, that's what we're doing. We send our military to a foreign country to establish a market for a corporation, and then we're such suckers that we don't even get cheaper gas. Right? They could still charge us $3-4 a gallon for gasoline as we're over there taking it for free, you know. So yeah, and it all comes back to the socioeconomics and education. It's manufactured, top down, absolutely.
Lady Boss, why doesn't anyone do anything about it? If there's a higher cancer count in your area, obviously there's something wrong with the environment. So you guys in that area need to be talking to the right people. Contact your mayor's office or something. That's kind of ridiculous because that's like the whole Aaron Brockovich type thing, you know?
Yeah, first and foremost, move. First thing you gotta do,
Yeah.
lady boss, get yourself, get your family, get the fuck out of there. Second, do what Video Girl's saying. You know, write letters if you want, things like that. But the first thing you can do is what you can control, which is to get the fuck away from that shit. If you recognize it as a problem, you gotta move.
you got to bounce because that's no joke. It's not like, oh, they might be polluting over there, and it's not like, oh, there's like a garbage dump that burns plastic once in a while, like radiation. That's no joke. You got to bounce, get yourself out of there.
You got to warn other
first
people
and
too
foremost,
once you're gone.
And then once you're gone, once you're safe, then you start reaching out and yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know how good it'll be to write letters to the mayor and these other people that are probably in on it too. They're not always as oblivious as we would think. You got to write, you got to get on the news around there, local news, or find some sort of platform to where you can reach other people in the area and help them to understand that problem too. And that's not your duty or your responsibility, but I do feel like since you're privy to this information, that's your privilege. That's your right as a conscientious American to help warn your fellow citizens about these things.
Agreed. And like Dabgod said, reaching out to like the Sierra Club or some group that already has a wide net, because
Yeah,
the
they
mayor,
have some more power.
Because the mayor's already turning a blind eye. So for a reason, right? So
right.
Sadly
His pockets are lined. Right.
That's it.
I will definitely follow. I thought I was following you. I don't know what
were.
happened there. Oh, I think you blocked me, and then I
never.
Or maybe that
I
was
never did.
Else. I don't remember.
Even if they come legit with come correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I have never blocked you, Lady Boss, and I will never block you. I can tell you that right now. But I appreciate you refollowing me. I do.
Audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now. Oh, the great Oz has spoken. Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the
Sounds like a cartoon or something. I don't know.
The great Oz has spoken. Who are you? Oh, I am the great and powerful Wizard of Oz.
That's right. The Dab God has spoken.
There we go.
And then also, like, all of the, like, south of St. Louis, like the counties south of St. Louis, the counties south of St. Louis, they're all, like, fucking, like, riddled with lead. Like, I remember I grew up in a county, like, the county south of St. Louis, and, it was, like, they were, like, bringing in water to residents, and, like, all of these kids were, like, getting lead poisoning. Like, I got lead poisoning because of all the lead mines were, like, leaking into the fucking water. Like, it's just fucking crazy. It's crazy, and the government is, like, not doing anything at all.
Lead's another one of those ones. Lead and nuclear, no joke. It doesn't ever go away. Once it's in your body, yeah, there's no safe amount. Zero. That's scary shit.
It is scary as shit. I was just thinking the same thing, man.
And I don't want to go all conspiratory on it, like that it might be planned, but they could be looking the other way on purpose. Like Flint. I mean, how long have they known about Flint? President Obama went there for a press conference, and everybody in the audience is thinking that he's going to announce that they're going to fix it. And he did a publicity stunt and had somebody bring him a glass of tap water, and he drank it in front of the audience, and everybody started booing him.
Because it's fucking absurd. He wasn't drinking the water from there. It was a totally different sourced water. People aren't fucking retarded.
Yeah,
he's not a
orange.
magician, dude. He just thinks they all think that they can just get away with this kind of shit, like he did with the whole SEAL Team 6 and Osama bin Laden assassination alleged.
Oh my God! Thank you for bringing that one up. Yeah.
Too many of us aren't retarded.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And 4 clicks, anybody can get the information that we're presenting here today with 4 clicks today. But I'm here to help you, to save you that energy even, because I've got the names of the shit, so you don't even have to do the 4 clicks,
True. 2 clicks. There it is.
That's it. Whoop, there it is. So what do we want to do? Should we go on? Should we want to knock these messages down, and then we can dig into some topics? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, in regards to alternatives to the internal combustion engine, there's a guy like in the early 90s, I believe. He created a water car. His name was Stan Myers. Google Stan Myers water car. He had an engine that could run on water, whether it was ice. It didn't have to be filtered water. It can run on water. Period. The Pentagon sent out a general to meet with him. In regards to this engine. He died. He died the next day of some kind of rare fucking cancer.
Seth Rich? Oh shit.
That's what they do, man.
That's what they do. Wait. You have an invention that's going to upset the entire world financial system run by a few people? A cabal of a few people? Oh shit. Yeah, can I buy you lunch?
You must die. They'll either buy you off or they will pay they will kill you off. One or the other.
It's the mob sending you a limo. Come on, get in. We're going to go for a ride. We need to talk. Oh fuck, here it is. Oh shit. You're done.
Bro, I'm big on evidence. So if you say Bill Gates is banned from countries, which countries, Name names.
Sure. You could look it up, or can you do me a favor and I'll just send you a link to a couple articles. So just tap my head
on it
right here. Go to IG and you don't have to add me or follow me on IG if you're scared to follow people who tell you these kinds of things. But just send me a quick message on there and I'll send you a couple links and you can see, bro. I mean, it's fucking sad. I mean, when I brought it up and I said he's banned from 20 plus countries, it's something that you should be concerned with. Not necessarily, up in arms about to the people delivering you the message, but for you to have a genuine curiosity on what some of these countries are and what these sources are is very understandable, bro. So I appreciate you asking. If you just give me the opportunity to give you some of those links, I will. If you want me to read you some of the countries without even having them on hand, there's going to be many countries in Africa, like Kenya, like you had talked about, Nairobi. Trying to think of who else it is. India is a huge one. He's not allowed to come back in India. I mean, look at what he's done in these countries. They're not just banning him because he's a weird looking dude with a shitty smile who constantly smirks when he talks about the death of countless people. It's because of the things he's actually done. He's committed many atrocities, many crimes against humanity, all for the name of perpetuating his globalized agenda and making money off vaccines. He left his extremely successful computer company for a reason. It's because the profits were a lot larger and the oversight was more minimalized when you're talking about the vaccine industry. They're not liable for shit. Look at
well, and there was recently a law passed where you can't sue the manufacturer of the vaccine anymore.
Yeah,
like, what?
That's what I mean. They're not liable for shit. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and and I don't want to go deep off into that because whatever. If you're pro-vaccine, whatever. Let's listen to what we're talking about. We're not going to delve into that. We're going to give you facts on proven shit that the government did. And links for you to investigate. The names of these, I'll just go through them real quick. Operation Paperclip, kind of where it all started right after World War II. Operation Northwoods in the 60s. Operation MK Ultra in the 60s. The FBI's Operation COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program in the 60s all the way through the 70s. The Tuskegee experiment that you were saying, I think that was the 40s and 50s. And then, Japanese internment, that's a great one. Yeah, concentration camps in the United States, rounding up American-born people of Japanese descent, telling them they have to sell their home and their business within 12 days, rounding them up and putting them in concentration camps right here in the United States. So those are also things we're going to talk about.
He's been listed on record. Bill and Melinda Gates have been listed on record, along with a lot of these other elites, saying they refuse to have their children mandatorily vaccinated. Yet that's exactly what they want us to do. So why is that? If these vaccines are so great, why is it they won't allow their own offspring to be vaccinated?
And then riddle me this, Dab God. what's the deal with mandatory vaccination? So if you get vaccinated, but I'm not, aren't you protected against me if the vaccine works?
Right. The whole herd immunity thing.
Well, no. So say you got the
That's what they've
vaccine.
changed the definition. They've changed the definition of herd immunity from what it originally was, where we develop our own natural antibodies and things, to now it's about if certain amount of us get vaccinated, then herd immunity can set in. They changed the definition of what that is.
Yeah, that's not, you're right. That's not correct. Herd immunity is developing it naturally on your own by being exposed to something. But what I was pointing out, and if anybody, so just, yeah. So say to True Dab God, you got the vaccine, but I didn't. You should be protected against me if I have anything. So why is it mandated that everybody get it? Because the people that are paranoid, they could get it, and they should be, quote unquote, protected, right?
Yeah.
If the logic that the whole, right? So there's no logic there, because, right, if it works, fine, you get it. You do what you want in a free country. You go ahead and get it, but I don't want to. It shouldn't matter what I do if the fucking thing works.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So there you go.
And even go back to what he
over.
said a second ago. Even some of the countries that Bill Gates hasn't necessarily been straight up banned from, his funding was removed for the same exact reasons. They didn't remove his funding because he's doing good for people. They removed it because he's doing bad.
So I looked up on DuckDuckGo, and it says Bill Gates wasn't banned from India.
That's probably a Snopes and things like that, exactly. But even in India, when you look at India, was he outright banned from India? No, but his funding was cut. He's no longer allowed to be coming in there vaccinating people. It's not like all of a sudden he can't walk in there, but he's just not allowed to be running his vaccination campaigns in there anymore.
And then here's what looks like a really good article. Bill Gates, most dangerous philanthropist. Right? Like, why is he delving into eugenics and all this and trying to save the human race? Or, why couldn't he just go put his feet up on an island somewhere? Just, you made it, dude. Go away. Right? But he's one of these new world order people who's going to use his wealth, ridiculous amount of wealth, to direct the course of humanity.
Yeah, to manipulate us and pressure us into taking his vaccines, and he's going to use us against us to do it. Those of us who are going to be like, you can't be around us if you didn't get the vaccine, stuff like that. They know exactly how to use us against us. Look what they've been doing all summer. Look what they do all the time. They use us against us.
And then you bring up digital currency. Oh, you didn't get the vaccine, True Dab God? I'm going to turn off your credit cards, or if you get the RFID chip, right? Your Bitcoin, your RFID chip is shut off. Now you can't go to the hospital. You can't go to the bank.
You can't travel interstate.
Right, you're ass out of society with a quick, simple flick of a switch, and they could even have an algorithm that just naturally does it through the NSA's spying mechanism, right? So, yeah, let's knock these messages down.
Hey, Dad, and now that y'all going in, man, yeah, Bill Gates stole fucking what was it, the intellectual property of free code. Free code used to be the thing back in the day, bro. I mean, I'm a little older, so I remember back then, because I used to be on all of that, bro. I used to fucking telnet hack, all type DOS hack, all type of shit, bro. Everybody knew who Bill Gates is a fuckboy, man. He pretty much stole everybody else's intellectual property that was trading code, and pretty much said that, I mean, I'm gonna be the first one to capitalize on this. And that so came Windows. They stole all that shit, bro. All that shit, they thieves, man. That's all they ever been. It's thieves.
Right,
and they fucking run around like philanthropists. That right there is the label that should let you know if they claim they're a philanthropist. Start looking into these motherfuckers, because obviously that's the code for wicked motherfucker that done done moved over to the other side, y'all. And they hide behind that word philanthropy. Fucking criminals, bro. That's what they is.
What's up, Meatballs? I'm glad you're here, bro. Good ass point as always, man.
Yeah, Meatballs, great point, man. You're exactly right. You nailed it. Yeah. Great point.
Dad,
he is a
bro,
thief.
yo, that's crazy that you said that, bro. Because YouTube is like, the thing with YouTube, right, is it always takes me back to that Yuri Bezmenov quote, right, about ideological subversion,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
he said it doesn't matter how much true information you show these people, bro. He said once the subverter has you, they don't care about your ideological beliefs or anything. That's when they move on to the next phase. And that's why we see a lot of truthful information come out on YouTube. But I think these people are so rooted in the nonsense, and you feel me, and all of this in the ideological subversion that they just can't tell what's real from what's not, yo. And then that's what Yuri said, you feel me? He said it don't matter. I could take them to Russia and show them the communist camps, bro. They think it can never happen to them until a military come kick them in the ass, bro. And hey, look where we man, military taking over DC, bro. They moving without outside of them in all, and you know, hopefully that's me jumping to conclusions. And God forbid that any of this ever happens, but we gotta wake up, yo.
Hey, yeah, it's not necessarily just a case you jump to conclusions. It's you using historical evidence to think about what's possibly going to happen right now. I mean, I'm with you on that. And even going back to what you said a second ago with Bill Gates stealing intellectual properties, that's what these elites have always valued. When I saw an interview some almost 8 to 10 years ago with Elon Musk, and you know, it might have been 7 or 8 years ago, but he was asked about Nikolai Tesla. And for some reason, even though he named his company after him, and you know, when you research, if anybody's into anything scientific research, is Tesla. Motherfucker was a gangster of science, bro. And so when he was asked about him, he was like, he skipped right over. He's like, nah, I don't really think about him too much. But Thomas Edison, now that guy was a genius. However, we all know now that Thomas Edison wasn't this genius inventor, just like Bill Gates isn't. He literally did exactly what Bill Gates did, and he stole other people's ideas and found a way to, if he was a genius about anything, it was how he marketed things and what he did to try to pull the wool over most people's eyes and have himself be lifted to prominence and his quote-unquote inventions be credited to him when they weren't things that he invented. That's exactly what he did. And Elon Musk was sitting there raving about it. That's exactly the very first time I realized Elon Musk wasn't the genius scientist that we think he is. He's just another one of these opportunist billionaires born into the right bloodline.
Thank you, True Dob God. I got to expand upon that because Nikola Tesla is maybe the single most important figure in American history, period, because he would have given us free, pollution-free wireless electricity. Imagine, we would literally have flying cars right now, like the fucking Jetsons. Literally, flying cars, flying buses, no traffic jams. Imagine, all free.
Yeah.
He built this shit. It's called it was called the Walden. I don't know. Look it up. The Walden Tower, I think. He built this shit, tested it. It worked. He brought J.P. Morgan over, who was his financier. He showed it to J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan said, "Where do I put the meter so that we could charge people?" His first fucking question. How am I making money from this? And Tesla said the whole point is it's free. Fucking J.P. Morgan brought in the bulldozers, had it destroyed. Then a week later, Tesla's laboratory went up in flames. All of his inventions, all of his paperwork were destroyed. But he was such a fucking genius that he had a photographic memory, and he was able to redraw and recreate a ton of that stuff. Now, I want to talk. So finishing on Edison, one of my relatives was a crazy inventor. He actually invented the microphone, Sir David Edward Hughes. My great uncle gave me this letter, or showed me this letter in feather pen quill, and it was him and Sir David Edward Hughes and Edison arguing back and forth because fucking Edison was stealing his inventions. So you're absolutely right. Edison was a fucking thief. Tesla was a genius. Tesla died a poor man in a fucking weekly hotel. They torched his they destroyed his name. They torched all of his work. They probably shelved it. We would have an entirely different world today. He should be a hero, but we never learn about him in school.
And that's exactly why, if Elon Musk was this genius, that's how I knew when I saw this interview years and years ago that he doesn't have fucking any clue, and he's just an indoctrined pile of shit. Silver spoon baby, man. Thrown into this position now of prominence, man.
Well, and he might be a genius, but you know that he's got that Dr. Evil side. If he's not fucking on his knees praising Tesla, then you know he's a sold out MFer.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
hands down.
most certainly, he's as much of a genius though as Bill Gates was, or as
Well, there
much
you
of a
go. I'll give
genius
you
as
that.
Edison was. Same as these people. They're all the same. They're all just profiteers, bro. Opportunists, bro. They're
Right.
cutthroat businessmen, bro. That like J.P. Morgan, Carnegie, and Andrew, not Dale. Any of these people, Rockefellers. They're cutthroat businessmen who will do anything to get ahead, and they will sacrifice the people whose ideas they're stealing from. That's what they do. They are not the geniuses that we believe them to be.
Exactly. Like what's his name? Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Okay, so there was an interview
Exactly.
with Bill Gates, and he even admitted to stealing. So Apple and Bill Gates stole Xerox's technology. The way Bill Gates described it is Steve Jobs broke in. So imagine Xerox was a house. Steve Jobs broke in and stole the TV, but he left the window open. So I went in and I stole the stereo. And this is from Bill Gates' own mouth. Apple and Microsoft were started by stealing Xerox's technology, and they should have been shut down for it. Right? And then, one of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr, he goes on to say, and this describes how none of them are these geniuses that you were talking about. He goes on to talk about, he's like, I don't know why people fucking worship, Steve Jobs. Motherfucker goes out, does this, Mac convention in his little sneakers and his suit, and like he created all the shit. No, there's an army of scientists and engineers behind him. But does he bring them on stage and say, thank you, all these geniuses? No, he's like, look what I did in my sweatshop in China.
Right.
You know?
Yep. It's a joke, bro. It's like
It's
what
a
Meatball
fucking
was
joke.
saying too. All these people that tout themselves to be these genius inventors of our age or philanthropists and stuff, those are the people you need to look into because they're not what they represent themselves to be. A lot of them were simply born into the correct families that you and I never ever would have been born into.
That's right. And who, after they make $5 billion, $10 billion, $60 billion, who are these crazy families, the Koch brothers, the Gateses, the Bezos, the Musks, that need to direct human evolution for the next hundreds of years? Like if you and I had $1 billion, we'd be buying an island, chilling, surfing every day, whatever, just chilling, right? So
I wouldn't. There's a lot of things that wouldn't be that savory that I'd be engaging in probably too if I had that much money to do. I'd be doing things like, driving around a little too fast in a car that's too fast for the roadways. I'm sure I'd be coated in women, like almost most of my waking days. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not as virtuous as I would like to be one day. I am more refined now than I ever have been before, but I'm still on my journey, bro. So I know also without any shadow of a doubt. And another thing, if I had $1 billion, I'd be doing a lot of good for a lot of people too. I can't help it. I have a generous nature. I always
Straight
have.
up.
As selfish as I am, I love to give, bro.
Straight up, I would hope that I wouldn't be driving around in a Porsche convertible on a windy road doing coke off a stripper's tits, but I can't guarantee that because I'm just a human being.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the internet, see, I don't think they knew how big it was really going to be, how it was going to catch fire. So, yeah, at one time, the internet, when it's more like the Wild West, you were getting you was getting some real truth. You was getting some, truth tellers out there. But over time, they learned how to combat that. And how they did that was they just pumped out so much information, of people pretending to be truth tellers, that you had to climb through the muck of disinformation to get any truth. And that's how they've combated it ever since.
Yeah, man, that's a good point. And honestly, to go back to that, to the internet, I do think that they did know what was going on. I mean, when you look at the internet and where it was started, I mean, you have the Armanet started first, and that was military use only. But then when the actual World Wide Web was launched in '89, that was a scientist from CERN. CERN, the same CERN with the polyhedron collider. The same CERN that's in Switzerland, where when you look at the statue of Shiva out front and you look at their ceremonies, they're doing blatantly Luciferian
Black
rituals and
magic.
stuff. I mean, yes, bro. I mean, you can read their mission statement. Look what they're doing. They knew exactly what was going on with the internet. Did they know how entirely they would be able to control and even mitigate forms of information on there? Maybe not. They do things as they go. But at the same time, they knew that they would have control over it, and they knew what they were doing when they launched it. They definitely did, man.
Dude, CERN, that's some crazy shit. They're trying to fuck with black holes. Like, imagine if they're trying to fuck with dark matter
Trying
and
to
shit.
create it, right?
Imagine if they created a successful black hole that then swallowed our planet.
They said that they've created them now. They said that they've successfully created them.
Yeah, and so here they are unleashing the beast. It's total scientific Pandora's box, right? Like, you have no
Yeah.
idea what the thing even is, but you're trying to conjure it. Well, fuck.
We know its destructive power is immense. We know that.
Right.
We know these things. So why we would
Beyond
be trying to
comprehension.
conjure it on Earth? Right. It just makes no fucking sense, bro.
Yeah.
And the only people that would ever be into something like that are the fucking elites. No normal motherfucker would want that shit.
The elites that have a fucking plane ticket off of this rock.
Yeah, they already have hotels established on the moon, from what I understand.
Oh shit. So Evol, I wanted to mention something about the censorship. I agree. I think they knew exactly what the web was, because it was developed by the military. But there's definitely been censorship, and they've rolled it back a little bit, because like Facebook, when it first came out, my posts would go to every friend of mine, you know, or to the public, and it would show you how many people fucking clicked on it, and like be 1,000 people would see some shit I posted. Now I post shit and I have 1,100 friends, 6 people see it. So the algorithms censor the fuck out of what you post. And if I post like truth about Israel, I've been kicked off Facebook for 30 days at a time, like more times than I can even count.
Yeah, it's fucked up. They do it to people on every platform now too. I mean, it's happening on people on Instagram. No matter what they're posting, if it's something that's counter narrative, it's instantly flagged as misinformation and then removed. It's fucking absurd. It's getting worse and worse and worse. You saw them deplatform an active president of the United States. So if they can do that, they can deplatform any of us at any time for little to no reason.
That's right. They deplatformed Alex Jones and and you know, whatever. Think what you may about him, but if they can ban him, they could ban you. And the only alternative to misinformation is more information, so that you can search through and find the truth. You can't just start banning things. Otherwise, once the wrong person gets in power, they'll ban anything that doesn't serve their narrative.
Which is what they do. It's exactly what they do. And people, they practice that one gentleman, Aries' philosophy of better than them us. When you got these people who hate Trump, because they're all staunchly on the left, they're like, oh, good, get rid of him. Yay, he's off there. Like, dude, I don't like him either, but do you not understand the danger of us just willy-nilly deplatforming people for no reason? I mean, come on now. The fact of the matter is, you could read his tweets. He was telling people, go home, I don't want any violence, things like that. So what they do, they pulled all those tweets off of Twitter and then said he incited the riots, so that way they could do all these other things as a countermeasure to him ever becoming president again. There are things about Trump as a president that make you think, there really are. But I still happen to believe he's another arm of the cabal, just like and another thing said earlier. And I don't think he was here to drain any swamp. I didn't see a swamp get drained. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, because a lot of my friends like Trump, and I like my friends, and I respect them. I respect their opinions. I respect their intellects.
Yeah, I respect anybody willing to be open to new information and to have a conversation, and a thinking person, like you just said. But I'm not a Trump fan. Let me just throw that out again. Not a Biden I'm not even going to do two parties ever again for my rest of my life. I'm joining the People's Party. peoplesparty.org. Check it out, people. So I'm, fuck it. I'm not going to do the lesser of two evils ever again, because what does that do? It brings you in a circle where you just keep getting more and more evil, right? So fuck that. Vote from your heart. Vote your values, And eventually, all of us really want the same shit. So eventually, if we do that, we'll change shit. And the biggest block of voters are non-voters, people that don't vote, 100 million voters. So if we can get those people, both parties are done. But they don't want us to know that either. They want us to be in fear again, and to think that we can only operate from within that two-party structure. So, we got to get the Democratic Party to go more left. Well, how's that been working out?
Right. Oh, God.
I did
The next step in that is going to be the AOC's rising to power. But you said you did a podcast?
Yeah, I did a podcast on this exact topic because everybody's like, Trump, 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 Trump. But how did we get here, right? So I did a podcast called Trump Derangement Syndrome and How Obama Led Us Here. A bunch of fucking these blue check Democrats are shredding me on Facebook without even watching the without even listening to the podcast. I start off saying I'm not a Trump supporter, but then I go through this huge list of how Obama totally fucked us and how he didn't keep any of his promises and how he had a Democratic Senate, Congress, and presidency. He could have rammed through universal health care right then with one signature. Didn't do it. He could have ended Occupy. He could have bailed out the people instead of the banks. The people would have paid their rent and their mortgages. That would have then propped up the banks, but he didn't do that. Gave the money right to the people. 5 million people lost their houses. Then what did he do?
You talk about that
He sent
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac bailout, all that?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then he militarized the police and said, crack down hardcore, and went out in the street and cracking heads. So.
Yep, it set the stage for Trump to sneak in. I mean, the same thing's true of Bush. I mean,
absolutely.
Clinton. First of all, you can go even beyond that. Clinton. You can go to the first Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush. There's a reason why he didn't win his incumbent election. It's because of the things that he did that people didn't like and what he stood for that people didn't want. And that's how a Clinton is able to slither in there. And the whole Ross Perot dynamic helped him as well, because he took some of his Texans' votes away, and that it made it a little bit less winnable in an election for him. Vote funneling happens all the time, and then because of how fucking corrupt the Clintons were over and over again, it was even before they got in office. You had things like Whitewater, and then once he got in office, you had shit like Monica Lewinsky and all these scandalized things, but there was all his policies he did that were way more dangerous, and all of his offshoring he did of our industry that were way more dangerous. And then so people were done with that shit. We were like, well, let's get a Republican in there, and we get George W. Bush's retarded ass, dude. Just this ridiculous, like, oh my God, that guy's disgusting. So we get him in there, and then we're all fucking like, nah, we can't have this no more. So then we vote for Obama, and I was one of them. I voted for change. I believed in him. Dude's a master orator. He's very good at manipulating. And so I was wrong. I was duped. That's why I haven't voted since then. But yeah, they just literally use the different presidents and the different candidates to just set the stage for their next one to slip in every single time. And we just go back and forth as a nation, just obeying where they're directing us and shit. It's really fucking absurd.
Yep, and no matter which one of them is in power, they keep accomplishing their mutual goals behind the scenes, like never-ending war, like, the movement towards, a cashless society, towards these things that really don't benefit us at all. Like, what would benefit us? Like, education, healthcare, reforming our agricultural system.
Yeah, small businesses growing instead of small businesses being stifled, small businesses being allowed to flourish. Yeah, anything that would benefit us is just not what we're given.
Yeah, but explain this to me. So in a fucking pandemic, once again, they bail out the corporations. They don't help the little guy. They help the corporations. So Ruth's Chris Steakhouse got $200 million because I don't know about you, True Dab God, but in the worst, depression of our lifetime, it's really important that we prop up a fucking high-end steakhouse.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And I like steak. And I like
Don't
eating
get me
at
wrong.
Ruth's Chris. Right, but that's still a complete misappropriation of that fundage. Let's get caught up on these bubbles real quick. Let's
and Video Girl, they don't do nothing about it because they're liars. They lie about all these scientific studies and it's totally harmless. You feel me? Man, it was a school in Maryland where these kids, they had one of them cell phone towers on top of the school. And it was like a couple kids in the same class came down with, you feel me, skin cancer. And they had like the highest rates of cancer in that school. I think it was in like Montgomery County or something. I mean, and they had a guy that worked for the phone companies come out and talk to the parents about why their kids are catching cancer and say that it has no relation to this big cell phone tower that's sitting on top of y'all school. So they started pulling their kids from the school. But the damage is already done because now their kids have skin cancer. So that's why people don't do nothing about it. It's because the industries are in charge and the industries have been able to falsify studies for so long and make people think that it's absolutely nothing wrong with any of this shit and it's just us being crazy conspiracy theorists. Fucked up, but it's the truth.
Bro, and you know who set the stage for that kind of shit? Bill Clinton in his Telecommunications Act of '96, bro. He allowed all of them, like in the telecommunication and cable industries, to have monopolies, and they allowed them to basically like do what they're doing right now with the 5G rollout in the past 2 years. They allowed them to just roll through any state, any city, any municipality with no oversight and no ability for any of the local governments to say, hey, we don't want this shit here. You know, we can't do that, or they will be fined and charged criminally. So that we can thank, you know, Slick Willie for that, man.
That's it. And Meatballs, thanks for the comment. Great comment. And we see an underlying thread here. The government constantly chooses corporations over people. Bam.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, no, like, it's proven. The mayor knows about it. The fucking alderman, like, there's city council meetings. There's, like, but nobody's gonna do anything about it. Like, there's a documentary on it on HBO about the fucking radioactive pollution in St. Louis. Yeah, definitely don't live. I live like 30 miles from the polluted site, so definitely, yeah, would never ever live there.
Right.
Shit,
yeah, it'd
30
be
miles.
like sacrificing yourself, dude.
Lady Boss, 30 miles. I think you do live there. That's not far enough.
It may not be far enough. Yeah, radiation is so fucking deadly, bro.
Like, everybody knows about it. That's the thing. Like, everybody knows about it, and not a whole lot of people are saying anything. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. I just kind of learned about it myself because I wasn't from North County. So I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Right? Once you start learning some of these things, it's very scary.
I'm really sorry. Like, I'm dozing in and out. I have
You're good.
a talk in a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta work night shift tonight, so I'm like dozing in and out. I'm listening to the conversation, but I'm also like falling asleep to it. So I'm also kind of having like weird dreams about the conversation. I don't know. It's weird.
God.
I hope we don't give her nightmares.
I know, we're not really talking about cupcakes
What's
here.
with the red nose, dude?
Oh, I put on the red nose because I was doing some comedy last night.
Oh, he forgot to take it off.
Yeah, Eve already did the same thing to Frederick Diesel from France, who created the diesel engine, and it ran off of oil. Well, Standard Oil got rid of his ass after he presented his engine at one of their you feel me, shows that they had where people present their new inventions. Well, 2 weeks after he showed off his engine, he disappeared, and Standard Oil had a gasoline petrol-based fuel for the diesel engine. They've been doing this shit all along, bro. It's the industries. That's why we've walked into corporate communism 100 years later, bro. And we're right there, and it's just not enough of us standing up to it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if there was people that are as knowledgeable as the two gentlemen that both brought up those people and the different engines that they created that ran on alternative fuels, there could be person after person after person coming in here mentioning example after example after example of people who've come up with different designs and have been either bought out and their shit has been shelved or they've been snuffed out.
No, yep, time after time, example after example. Absolutely. Hey, everybody, follow
Look at the
Shab
lawsuits
and
that
myself.
Bill Gates has on him in Africa and India alone. That should say enough for you, right there. But you gotta look for that yourself. Look for all the kids he paralyzed in India with his vaccinations that they're completely liable from. Yeah, they just testing it out on everybody else before they give it to us. That's all they do. They test it out on third world countries because them people don't have the means to get anything done to these people. So, that's how rich and powerful they are.
Yeah, and why are they testing it in Africa? Because there's no recourse. What are those people going to do? Sue some uber-rich corporation out of the U.S.? Yeah, right.
Right. Well, the shitty thing is when people go to look this stuff up, they're going to find the Snopeses first. They're going to find the different
Right.
Snopeses and fact checkers on the internet first. So then they're going to think, see, I knew it. Bill Gates is a good guy. Like, no, you really got to look beyond that shit because they put that there so you won't look further and you won't believe the harsh realities of these things. You have to look at alternative news sources. They're just as reputable, if not more so. However, they're able to analyze things critically and with less bias.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to mention this one again because, yeah, you type in Bill Gates vaccines, and the first things you're going to get are all debunking, right? Like bullshit articles to make you dig deeper, right? But the one you got to look for is by Corbett Report, and it's Who is Bill Gates? He did a 4-part expose, and he digs deep. He goes all the way back to the beginning when he stole Xerox's technology. And, and it points out the family origin, all of that. So here's this silver spoon dude with his family having a history in eugenics, and now we want this guy in charge of world health. Like, no, I say fuck you. Stay in the fucking computer lab.
Yeah, it's insane that we would be looking to him for that. I mean, this dude owns so much chunks of some of these different things, like the faux meat companies, Beyond Meat, Impossible Burger, and all these other fucking things. He owns huge chunks of those. He's now the largest farmland owner in North America. He owns the largest chunk for a single investor of waste management systems. He bought huge chunks of Monsanto before the company was dissolved and bought out by Bayer. He bought Cargill, another one of these companies that makes like faux meats and things like that and other products. Like, he owns all of these things, man, and he's super into like chemical agriculture and GMOs and pharmaceutical drugs and vaccines, and we know the dangers of all these things. They are fucking well known, well documented. Yet this guy who talks on TED Talks on YouTube right now that you can still look up, talking about depopulation agendas and things that need to happen, and he even says point blank on one of them, if we do a really good job on vaccines, we can limit the world's population. Like, nobody says these things that gives a fuck about the greater good. It's somebody who gives a fuck about the propagation of the agenda.
Okay, True Dab God, you just nailed it. So True Dab God just dropped a huge truth bomb for you all. So follow True Dab God, follow myself. If you like truth, if you want to dig deeper, but he just dropped a huge truth bomb right here. So I saw that exact same TED Talk, and he actually said that if we do a really good job with vaccinations, we can get population growth down to 0. Now, I thought vaccines were to extend people's lives.
Right.
I didn't think they were for birth control. Oh, snap.
He said it himself, man. And when you look at these people look at body language videos and stuff. Look at what it means. And then look at what these people say and look at when they smile. When they talk about the disease spreading worldwide and deaths are going to reach certain numbers, that's when they smirk. That's when the corners of their disgusting mouths begin to crinkle up into these little smirks and grins. Fauci does it. Bill and Melinda Gates do it. People just need to pay attention to those things. I mean, come on, man. These aren't just like innocent smiles, innocent expressions that come in inopportune times. They're revealing of what their thoughts and agendas really are.
That's right. And you know, a great place to start down that rabbit hole is with Bill Gates talking about Monica Lewinsky. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Yeah.
That was a good impression.
I'm sorry. Thanks. Because what I saw this person, it was a former FBI person talking about liars, and they used Bill Clinton as an example. They're like, okay, look at, he's saying no, but he's nodding his head yes.
Right.
Look at his eyes. He doesn't look at the camera. He's got so many fucking tells that he's lying, right?
Yeah, they all do it too. They're all so adamant. Biden does the same thing. I watched the video with him on Tara Reid, and they were breaking down his body language in that too. It's wow, it's startling when you have a panel of experts that are revealing different. They're so small too. You don't notice until they point them out, and then they're so blatant. Once you notice, I'm like, holy shit, man, holy fucking shit.
Exactly. It's like once you get a certain car or something, you start seeing that car all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Once you know these tells of a liar, you're like, oh shit, look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
No.
Damn it, Fearless, I'm so far behind I don't know what that was about, and I apologize, my friend.
Do we really trust the government? That's the real question. The question is, who can we really trust? Because apparently we can't trust none.
Trust yourself, Thunder God.
Yeah,
Fearless,
trust your
we're going to
gut.
pound through these messages and catch up. Let's pound these through these.
Hey, Dab, yo. Oh, man, Tesla, he destroyed all these narratives. Man, Tesla, that Tesla quote, that shit stuck with me, bro. That shit kind of changed my whole mentality for real. When he said that these so-called scientists are not scientists. They've traded in their true science for metaphysicists, right? He said that's what he called them, right? He said they traded in science to be metaphysicists, right? That their mathematical equations are, he said that they're like an expensive purple cloth that a beggar takes for a king, but the equations have no root in the natural world or natural science. So that's what kind of woke me up to like, man, yeah, they're pretty much trying to explain our reality with equations, but these equations don't hold no weight once you look at them, and that was what Tesla was trying to tell people. That's why he said if you want to unlock the keys of the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibration, not mathematical equations that work on paper but not the real world.
Bam.
Powerful, bro.
Sound. Powerful.
I know.
All sound. All
Resonance.
comes back to sound. Yeah, resonance, sound. Light is sound. We just can't hear it.
All right, thanks for tuning into another episode and another thing with Dave. Please follow, subscribe, and share. I'm on all social media and another thing with Dave. And keep seeking the truth.